All right, Gold Member. Don't play the laughing boy. There are only two things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the Dutch.
The Dutch again! The Dutch again! The Dutch again! 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 The Dutch again! The Dutch again! The Dutch! The Dutch! The Dutch! Again! Fucking Dutch! Again!
Here we are, the Dutch again.
The Dutch again.
Now, we should change our show's name then, instead of Dutch Angle. The Dutch again.
The Dutch again.
Okay, well, Marinus is in the mood. Marinus bringing the energy tonight.
What? Maybe. That depends on what we're going to talk about.
Oh, you don't know? It's a surprise?
I have hints.
All right.
You have a hint? This is the fucking thumbnail, man.
It's always something with Marinus.
I know.
All right. How are you guys doing?
Good, great. Yeah.
Doing well so far.
There's energy from Marinus we're waiting for.
Okay. Guys, Dutch Angle. Today we talk about artificial intelligence. They call it artificial intelligence. AI generated art, right?
Yeah.
They call it artificial intelligence. I'm not sure if that's the right description.
It's machine learning, right? It's learning.
Yeah, machine learning.
Yeah, I kind of would you would think about intelligence that is sentient, but of course it's not sentient. It's of course a collection, data collection, mining, and learning from that. So
yeah. Anyway, let's say hi to everyone watching right now. The Art and Times of J. Ryan.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you doing, man?
Marinus looks like he's going to murder fools.
That's his standard. That's a standard look.
That's my standard face.
His comfy face.
The court jester, welcome. Used to be able to spot AI images based on JPEG artifacts being exaggerated by the rendering process, but they've already smoothed it out. Right.
Yeah. That's a thing. I don't know if it's AI by those JPEG artifacts, or maybe just the filter they used back then. But yeah, you can still pick out AI here and there.
Higgs Villain.
Hey.
Higgs Villain.
Yeah, hey man.
Nice to see you. And we have Mike. Mike is here.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike, man. How you doing?
Krampus is coming. So, Festivus. Krampus, yeah. That reminds me, Mike is here. So, I have a ticker. So, all Mike needs to do is show up, and I'm reminded of the ticker.
Why does he remind you of the ticker?
Yeah. Right.
We and the music, of course, the background music.
No, do we need music?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
Something dangerous and ominous. We're talking about AI taking over our world.
Yeah, it does. Roland, you are an animator, right?
Yeah.
Do you notice in your profession that people are using this tool?
Not per se on the animator side, but I'm also an illustrator and artist, storyboard artist. And in my timeline, in different social medias, it's nonstop, especially from artists like breaking down of anxieties that they're losing their jobs and losing their income. It's a shit show down there in Artistville. It really is.
Is this something that is inevitable?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the ghost is out of the bottle, or how do you?
Yeah.
What's the genie? The genie's out of the bottle, right?
Yeah.
So you can't put it back in.
Once this tech is released, in public or whatever, it is there, and it's only getting built upon, and they have different competitors, so every competitor wants to beat the other. So it's really a rolling snowball, basically going downhill and taking everything with them. Because don't forget, it doesn't only affect artists, it will affect everybody along the line.
Ryu, hey, welcome, Ryu.
Hey, Ryu,
Ryu.
man, how you doing, buddy?
And then we have Pops. Welcome, Pops.
Hey, Pops.
Pops in the house.
Problem is they are feeding these AIs your art. That is theft.
Yeah, that is one of the arguments.
Yeah.
It is very multifaceted, this whole
there are
thing.
a lot of things to discuss, right? So you have the practical aspect. So what can we do with it? Then we have the ethical part, like where does this art generator create art from, right? It uses references to create something new. So what's ethical about that? And for the future, how do we want it? So do we want it? If we don't want it, how will we be able to work with it? So these
very, very valid points on all those.
Right.
So where to start? Where to start with this?
First of all, I got a question. So where does this come from? I mean, I was, looking on Twitter, doing my thing, talking to people, scrolling. And then I saw some beautiful art, and somebody told me, hey, this is AI art. I said, what? Are you kidding me? And I first saw some, samples, some not really good looking. And then a couple of weeks later, I saw some beautiful looking art, and I didn't know it was AI. So how did it, I know how it came to be, but, it was not there at all. And suddenly it was there, and now it's all over the place. So did somebody just pull a switch or something, and then
kinda. Yeah, kinda.
It's snowballing extremely fast.
Yeah, kinda. So there you have different AI, let's say companies or engines. I don't know how you can refer to them. Yeah. For example, you have Imogen, Midjourney, you have Stable Diffusion, all different databases or AIs that uses databases to make AI art, basically.
Right.
And there's one that is Stable Diffusion. That's an open source code, so somebody can look into the code, change it, whatever, and they just found out the amount of art this AI learning tool, machine learning tool, is using to create these arts, and they just grabbing just unfiltered art from everywhere. Defiant art, Pinterest, what was the other again? Yeah, like a lot of these platforms where you can post art as well. And they found out also some other stuff within the databases he's grabbing. Hey, Core Jester, like medical information somewhere, somehow. It could be just individuals posting these information online, and the AI just runs into it and just grabs it. So
Dave, can you share my screen, please?
Yep.
So yeah, that's the thing that started like this whole explosion at this point. And people it's getting improving. It's proving more and more and more and more. So it's getting more impressive. And then you look at these AI art, and you're like, wow.
Yeah. This is probably one of the first beginning. This is from 16 January. You see, this is not really finished. You could say this is some kind of extract, but I believe this is in the we call it children's shoes of computer generated AI. And then if I'm Can I open this up
I
without?
don't know actually for
Oh,
sure
yeah.
because
Then
you
look at
you
this.
have
Looks
you have
freaking-
artists like the previous picture with the scenery.
This
uh,
here. Yeah.
Yeah, concept artists do paint with these broad strokes.
Yes.
It,
True.
it doesn't. I think it's beautiful. Even if a human made that as well, like Zach Ress or whatever, it's gorgeous. But big strokes, brush strokes. So
So good.
yeah, you have these things. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just beautiful art. I just googled AI art like this here.
Yeah.
And then
Hello, Rex. Welcome.
Hey, hello, hi.
hey, Rex. I mean, even this is AI art.
Yes.
Avengers in the 1980s. This
I
just,
think some of these earlier pictures are like this are like enhanced photographs.
look at these fingers here. That's how you can
Alright.
see it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
AI at this point really has problems with fingers and with perspective.
yeah.
But give it a year, give it a 6 month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where are we then? It really goes fast, and that's why this huge uphill is here now. I don't know how it works exactly. Dave says enhanced. I think
No.
Mo-
There are some people use it to enhance art. So you can
oh yeah.
you can put in photographs, or you can put in your artwork, and then let the app render it. So make it prettier or whatever.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I really like this.
But
Yeah.
the thing is,
Yeah. We have also a lot of weep stuff.
yeah.
yeah, everything. You can find everything.
This I mean, yeah, you put in some information, like some food in a blender, and then something else comes out, right? Or stuff like this.
I kind of think like that. So this AI uses a huge database, and they
Yeah.
went skifting over millions and millions of images from
Yeah.
different platforms. So when it creates something, it kind of creates this image from a lot of small parts of somebody else's art, basically. I don't know if you can see it as a collage in that sense, like scrapbook artists make collages from other people's art as well, or images. I don't know if you can compare this with music sampling. Music artists uses samples. So does a art uses samples from other people's art, and is
Right.
that then real theft?
Well,
those
if
are the
you-
questions, ethical
If
questions as
you,
well.
if you use music sampling, this is done by people who often cover it, or they use small samples from other tracks in their songs, but they pay royalty.
Yeah.
over
And that's
that.
the thing with the art industry. What the music industry really does very well is controlling their intellectual properties, their copyrights,
Right.
and art really doesn't have this ferociousness of protecting their copyrights. While copyright is one of the main incomes of a lot of artists.
Mhm.
They live on the copyright of their art.
Look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah, this looks really
So
good.
you have this argument, right, that many people use. Art can only be made by humans because art is a human expression, right? And then you see stuff like this, and sometimes you think, wow, that looks great. And imagine this in 1 year, in 2 years, in
Yeah.
5 years, it will be perfected. This
Yeah,
program will continue to learn
Jesus
and
Christ,
improve,
look at this.
and
Yeah.
at some point it will relay back to you the emotions that you put into it. So
Yeah.
you can't distinguish. At some point, you cannot distinguish artificial art from human art.
Well, there is this point. So the AI now just uses samples from its
Jesus
humongous database to
Beast.
create an image based on the prompts you give. So you give a prompt of a person, of a creature, of a setting, and then maybe I wouldn't say it's correct, but you would use a prompt of an artist, and then it creates this image based on all these prompts.
Wow.
But it doesn't so it creates a kind of homage, a lookalike style of that artist, but it doesn't create the context or the story or the empathy that humans can put in art. So I wouldn't say it's art, basically, but I don't want to go into that boring conversation, because what is art for one is different than the other. But I think it lacks emotion, empathy, and storytelling, basically. A lot of these images, it's more about the labor and the skills that it can emulate very well. But Dave is correct. In 1 year, 2 years, the way it's progressing now, can we put context? Can we put certain things in art that humans have?
Well, look, when you have a landscape or a character, it doesn't really need context. You just have the landscape and the character.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can create something using the right prompts to tell the exact story you want to tell. So then you can pretend for yourself that you're the artist, because you put in the right prompts, you put in your own story, and the program makes the visual for you, right? And at some point you will be able to get it exactly as you want it.
Well, they already do that. So if you put some prompts in the AI, it gives you, like, let's say 4 different versions, and you can choose one of the version, and you can go into deeper in that version. Can make small little changes. I don't know these anime things, because I think they're ugly, but whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of weeb stuff in here. I can't help it. It's just on the page. So
let's go to the chat for a moment, guys.
Dr.
Rhino's here. Welcome, Dr. Rhino. I saw the thumbnail.
Man.
I click. Yeah. So you see, guys, the thumbnail is AI generated, and still people respond to it. So you don't need a human to make it for you to get a emotional reaction.
Well, emotional reaction is something different than an artist putting an emotion in there.
Sure, of course.
Every image can evoke an emotional reaction.
Yes, but in the end, right? You can see it from the standpoint of an artist, but you also can look at it from the standpoint of the corporations who make these things. They just want to make money, so they want to produce things that resonate with people, that people pay for. So these corporations don't have to pay artists anymore, but people pay them to buy these programs, and they can do it. They can do everything.
Yeah, and so there is the point. Should we somehow make a legislations on it, make laws to protect artists?
I think it needs to be. Yeah,
I think as well.
Court Jester says this is the worst part of it all, in my opinion. The end result is gorgeous, but it's how it's going to be used that's so frightening.
Exactly. The way they are gathering the data so far. So it started under the guise of non-commercial company, just to learn the AI, and then they are using it on a commercial app with a lot of these art that they put in the AI, used from a non-profit organization.
Right.
So yeah. If the beginning is already like faulty to go off, but it also gives a sense, how much is that different from a normal human artist? I see art everywhere, and I always store it in my brain, my computer here, my database in my head, and at some point I will use anything I see as an inspiration for my own art.
Sure.
So how could that be different? I think most of it is just money related and how they use the art. If I would, for example, make a piece of art for a client and there's copyright on it, the computer or the AI just stumbles upon my art, just use it unfiltered, but then it also uses the art I made for my client and changes it in a way that I'm not agreeing with or I don't like, whatever. It uses for their own commercial stuff and they're claiming it's their own, even though my client paid copyright for it to me. And yeah, that's a big problem.
So let's tell you a secret. This woman's gonna be my wife.
AI, yeah, you're kind of into robots, right?
Yeah, but this is
She's not a robot. She's real, Roland. She's real. I want it to be real.
if you see this, you're like, wow, that's fantastic. That's great art. The lighting works, the colors. It has this manga style. You even recognize the character. It's really really nice. And the only way right now you can notice that it's not made by a human is when you look at certain details, right? So here you have the pants, for instance. This part, it doesn't make sense. You see? And here you have this hair here that's not connected to everything, and a little thingy that maybe someone thought should be a
Dave, you haven't seen modern Marvel comics and DC comics.
Yeah, this is better.
Don't connect to anything, by the way. So
right, yes. No, but these...
that's scary. The AI is even better than all the Marvel and DC stuff they're creating right now.
And this will get better and better. So at one point, why should companies or even customers hire artists in the future to make this when they can do it themselves?
Yeah.
You don't need the talent, you don't need the skills. All you need to do is know how to use the program. So
I believe there's on Kickstarter is a computer-generated AI comic, being right now. A couple weeks back, I saw it.
Kickstarter, really?
On Kickstarter, yeah. I don't know what the name is, but maybe I can Google it real quick. Let me double check.
Sure.
AI comic.
Bob says you have to have permission to sample music, but these guys just take your art. Would you be cool if they did AI art of your character and profited without you getting anything? No, that would be crazy.
Yeah, of course. And that's the point. Somehow the music industry works way better with protecting their copyrights than the art industry.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if it's because there's more money involved in the music business, or they happen to sue a lot, so they make precedents. No, but by suing companies or personals or people, I mean, they are setting precedents for what is allowed and what is not allowed. And in art, that's not really a case. So I think the art community needs to kind of organize better, and I think there will be a lot of fights coming up, legally or in court or whatever, that will set precedents, and that's highly needed as well.
Yes.
I threw it in the private chat, Dave, so you can maybe share it if you want.
Yeah, I saw. Thank you. Of course. I saw Apex is here. Hey, welcome, sir.
Apex, how you doing, man?
I saw also the Spore Hacker. Welcome, Spore Hacker. Dave, your retweet of the post regarding the YouTube comment by the career translator summarizes the matter. Right.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
I have it right here. One sec. I have it.
Yeah, if even with their indeed just added already Google translated article is probably as much work, maybe more, as translating it on your own. But it's what companies do. But the scary thing, it's getting better. I mean, Google Translate now is already better than half a year ago. I just see it when I use it. It's really weird.
you have these American comics that are translated in Dutch. Still, little company does it. So just a few titles, and I picked one up, and the translation was just awful. It was terrible, and I couldn't understand what the problem was. And this was last year, so maybe this was the issue. So maybe it was translated by software instead of a human. I don't know. Look, these companies, they look at the bottom line, right? They need to have the product. If it looks good, okay, people need to buy it. That's basically it. So the quality may not always be there right now, but give it time.
Yeah, and even though already now in art world, they don't. Some companies don't always care about your style. They're not specifically looking for your style. If you're just cheap, they will hire you.
Yeah. And if you can produce something that is recognizable, they think, hey, that'll do. They're going to hire you. Just look at Marvel Comics, right?
Yeah. And Court Jester says, well, here's the thing. If people were to use it to say, generate a batch of 10 different quick references, then from that choose a particularly good-looking composition and then reference it. Yeah, I think first, like, this is a tool that can help artists with their layouts or some inspiration or the backdrops or whatever. This is the way it started, but it's so advanced right now that you don't even require the skills to take it from there. So you can just keep on rendering until you have exactly the image you want.
Yeah, the thing is, now we're talking about things now that the hands are not good, the perspective is not good, some things are not connected or whatever. It doesn't really matter that much because human artists also make kind of mistakes here and there, which is fine. That's why it's art. It doesn't need to be perfect. The thing is, where is it going? How good will it get?
It's going towards perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's the same with deepfake technology and these voice apps where you can have this voice read text, and nowadays you don't even realize that that's not a real voice.
Yeah. You have like AI voices basically where you can record your own voice, and if you just type a sentence, that AI says that sentence in your voice, for example. A lot of podcasters use it for, and if they made a mistake in a podcast, whatever, they use the AI to correct it, and you won't notice. Yeah, you won't know. Well, if you have a conversation with AI, you could probably notice because there is no emotion in the voice, so it's a bit more plain, but how long would it take for that to correct itself? The same what I was going to with art. I don't think a lot of, for example, you said there was a Kickstarter making a graphic novel with AI art, right? In my experience so far, AI art is not consistent. So if you make a comic needs to be consistent, each panel, each drawing in the same style, right? Even if you use a prompt of an artist to create a drawing, each drawing it generates, it's not consistent. If you would make another scene in the same style with the same artist, but how long before that will be corrected as well? And there you go, with people who want to steal stuff, it's then almost free game.
Yeah, it's pretty inevitable.
Look, you can make money from AI generated art. You can make a graphic novel and you can earn €2,500 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. The Corridor crew. I don't know if you guys know
Yeah.
these guys. They made a animatic kind of storyboard with keyframes of a fake movie or just a pretend movie with AI, and just using one of their the photos of one of their employees, and made a complete story with AI generated images. And you really saw a lot of different styles within the things, and they tried it, and I thought, there's the consistency I'm lacking, or they are lacking. But yeah, of course you can do that. But
So Roland, when you see this
it
page,
needs to
right,
be in a human touch.
is this consistent enough?
Let me try to make it full screen. No,
So
it's not consistent at all. No, it is not. No, you really see difference of styles between, I think, 4 images I see here, especially the close-up of the guy with the mustache and the colors. It's different. Even though in the start image there's more detail, you see a bit more brushwork than the smoother work in the 4th image. And in the last image, the 5th one, is also a bit more brushwork. So you already miss a lot of consistency here. But how long before that will correct it? And I think it's appalling to do this. You need, when you're going to use this, you need to reference the artist, or at least place the prompts in there, the prompts you used to create this art, and give artists that have a kind of where you took this style from credit, or at the least, but you should pay them.
Well, the problem is sometimes you don't even know which artist you are referencing, because
that
this
is a
is a database with millions of
yeah.
pictures.
That's why actually when you generate art, there should be a list of all the sources where it took the art from, and it can probably be thousands of different sources.
Yeah.
And that's also the point. Is this a collage? Is this a mix match? Is this a sampling?
I know. Is there more art, Dave?
Yep. So a lot of scenery. So because these apps they work well for scenery. It's easier to make that and make it look flawless than, for instance, human figures. But if you keep it vague, like here from the back, from the backside, you can really push it,
Yeah, but for me, I have an artist eye. I can see clearly, in one shot there are these 2 towers. There, the third one, these mosque kind of towers with a lot of fog in the background, or clouds.
Yeah.
And then the next images, suddenly it's gone. The atmosphere is gone, and there as well. Yeah, and if you have like a setting that is placing in the same room, and or a scene that's situated in the same room, and you have different shots from different camera angles, how can you make that consistent with AI?
Right.
So you need to feed in.
Error, maybe?
Well, if you're yourself are an artist, you probably will correct the images the AI will spit out, will generate. So you will do a handy fix.
Yeah.
Or you feed the engine with your own art. So you have a room. I know there are some apps where you can just draw some lines and it creates a character from that lines, or a scenery. You draw a simple stick figure kind of tree and it generates a tree. But yeah, there are a lot of trees, of course. So you need to choose one, and if you draw a new kind of tree for the next image, will it be the same tree? Because it needs to be the same tree. So
yeah, that's the thing. You basically need one thing that you can replicate in every panel from different angles and stuff. And I think we will be able to do that at some point. You make one tree, you upload it, and then you tell the program to put the tree in various situations. So
Yeah. Yeah, even though when you create a story, when you create a setting as an artist, you think about everything. You will design the room, you will design the city where it's sitting in.
Mhm.
You kind of make a map. You design and think of everything. So how long before we can place those ideas of a map of the room and feed that into the AI machine? And it will become interesting if as an artist you can use your own art to create images from your own style, and then I'm totally for it. Let the computer do the hard crunching work, and then you as an artist can refine it. So make designs of a room, different sides, top view, I don't know, 3D view, put that in the machine, and then just with prompts you can probably say west side room with character this, then you can create a scene with just using prompts. And I can totally see that happening. And if it would create your work quicker, why not? Then you're also cheaper for a company that wants to hire you, probably. But that's not the point. The point now is not really about if it's good or not good. The point right now, the discussion should be about the way they collect the data. It's unethical. It's about data acquisition. That's the issue, and what you can or whatever you can do with it needs to be legislated as well. But for me, it's a data acquisition, because a lot of artists are like very afraid that they will lose a job because AI can do it. But I think you have to work with it. It's a tool, but with every good point there will be a bad side. Every good side, bad side, and that needs to be regulated. And companies that make these AI machine learnings, they put a lot of money invest a lot of money in that machine learning, and they won't make a company with that much investment if at some point the law says, nah, you can't use it anymore. So companies do rely on legislation and laws, and we need to make restrictions and laws on that, on these things, to protect artists.
Look, these these pictures, they look nice, but it's not a comic that I would buy.
No,
there's nothing about the comic that tells me, hey, I like to read this. I think most people backing this do it because of the novelty. It's so the novelty will wear off. We're now in the early stage of this new era where artificial art or AI art will become more prominent, and at some point it will be normal. So people will
yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, you see it now everywhere. Or well, everywhere it's getting. You see it more and more on social media, right? So it's becoming normal, and at some point, people don't know if it's AI art or just a guy really good with pencils and brushes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In the future, people will ask you, is this drawn by you, or is this because they can't tell the difference no more?
The future is here, Dave. Get with the program, dude.
No,
Right.
but Dave raises a good issue here.
Let me show
If you use AI and sell it under your name, you're just a fraud. You're just a bad person. You're a thief. Also because the copyright is actually shown is actually from the artist. But you're using also a machine learning tool that is developed by somebody else. So, hey, infinity.
Can you see it?
Damn, yeah, that looks like
it's very good.
Yeah. Now go ahead talking. I'm just sharing art.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now you lost me.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it here with the fingers. They didn't perfect it here. Right?
Yeah.
So this looks great. Lighting looks great. Art looks great. But then here it's getting lost. Also,
Yeah, but then we're going
maybe a little
again
bit,
in then we're going back again in that discussion. I think that's not
yeah,
really
no, I'm
relevant.
just pointing it out.
We already gone there. It's about claiming yours and selling it as yours.
Yeah.
That is the big thing, and how they acquire those data. So I think Dave is right. They should put a disclaimer that's AI art or collected from different artists. Like now, YouTubers need to place on warning somewhere that they say I'm sponsored by this brand. If I'm going to talk about this brand, right? Just a little disclaimer. That also already helps. But there are already tools that can be used to deal with these things. For example, there's this case of the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, the US. They had a court or a suit against Album, I believe, and Album promised the FDA to only use private data for their work, but it was not true. And in the settlement, the FTC forced Album to use, as they would say, an algorithmic discouragement. Wow. And that means basically to remove everything: AI learning models, data sets, machine and algorithms that they needed to remove. So basically, they deleted everything what's in their database, and there's a precedent they should force upon companies, and companies kind of like legitimacies and laws where they can obey to, and so they don't lose value or money on those.
I'm not sure.
laws.
I think they really like that. Look, artists right now, there are some websites where you can upload your art, and they now give you the option to opt out of submitting your art to the AI database, right? So it's standard. This means it's standard for artists to opt in. So there's no regulations. Everything you upload goes into database unless you actively state that they can't use it.
Yeah, that's already a weird thing. I think DeviantArt did this, right? And they actually said actually they used the Midjourney AI tool, I believe. But this is just a fake thing. They say this, but in the small print, they can't make this true. Also, everything you put in the AI to learn, it can't unlearn.
Right. Yeah.
So even if you
that's interesting. Okay.
And even if it's this learning tool, what about the other learning tools? What about the tools that are being developed abroad? You know, this will be always a thing.
Right. Ryu says, I will say this: dynamics is something only a human can do. For example, drawing, painting a fast-driving car, or flying aircraft. You need the dynamics and your inner fire to draw these things. Maybe now, maybe right now, but you have to use your imagination, right? See how far this technology has come within just a few years, right?
Yeah, a few months, basically.
Extrapolate that over the next 5 years, it'll be flawless.
Oh, wait a minute! I have to share this one.
Yeah. So.
And maybe with all this AI. Oh, sorry, Dave. You finish what you want to say.
No, it's just. I think AI is here to stay. There, not many people like it. It will cost jobs. I think who will go to a art school right now when you have programs when you can just buy a program who does it for you. You know,
so good.
There is no motivation. anymore to learn the craft. You don't need to.
Well, I don't agree with that. I still think you need the crafts. I still, even if the tool is very advanced, always start at the basic, at the beginnings. And I
Why?
don't. Why? Because you need to learn about composition. You need to learn about how materials behave on certain lights, or how certain light reflect on certain things. You need to have these basics to when for example, when your art doesn't work, a general person would say, yeah, but there's something off, but they can't tell you what is off. As an artist, you have the knowledge, the skills to exactly tackle that issue. You know what is off. It can be composition, it can be anything, material, whatever. As an artist, you can recognize it, and then you can probably enhance it. But I really think I would encourage every aspiring artist still to go to art schools and learn the craft, learn the skills, learn the knowledge. I think that's most vital, and especially learn to place your emotion and context in art. Machines can't. I don't know if machines can ever do that. They can emulate it, maybe quite
Yeah,
good, but
that's
you would
enough,
recognize.
right? That's
No, I'm
enough.
not.
If they can provide the result that the artist is going for, that's plenty. That's enough. And if this saves you decades of learning the craft, then yeah,
In a
why
matter
not?
of months, maybe, or weeks.
No, yeah. It could be, when it gets really advanced, but then you're talking about technical skills again. And basically, this is kind of the point where I'm going, because right now, the AI machine learning only makes digital art, digital paintings. And then I think if you are a artist that you still use it with real oils, real watercolors, real aquarelle, making these physical paintings, I could imagine being this oversaturated AI art everywhere, that art created by humans will actually become more worth, maybe. Especially when you can see it hanging on the wall. You've all, I hope you've been all to a museum and you watched a painting very up close. The colors are way different than you can create anything with digital art, and you almost have a 3D kind of view, because you see the brushstrokes of the artists, and like a little dot of paint can make a highlight in the eye very shiny, and if you step a meter back, it's perfect picture, so maybe for physical artists, their art probably will raise in value. I don't know.
Do you fear for your profession, Roland?
No, not really. Because what I'm going to do is just really get into it, really try to understand how it works and educate myself. I think that is the best way to deal with it, instead of hiding and putting your head in the ground and complaining and being scared and having panic attacks, because I know artists that have that. No, just educate myself, and I will use a tool. I will learn to use the tools.
You're
for
gonna
my
use
own
it. You're
art.
gonna make it. You're gonna create AI
Yeah.
art. And I said, hey, look at what I got.
Yeah, because working in the field, working with an art director, you make a piece of art, and usually the art director always says, "Yeah, can this change a little bit there? Can you change a bit here? And you can change the color and maybe lighting a bit." And when you use AI, you can feed your own style or your own art in there. Yeah, like here.
This is gorgeous.
And then you can quickly, faster create that to the art, create different versions, present that to the art director. He can probably choose one. You can make a higher resolution of it. And then, yeah, of course, you still, I think you always need to have some fixing as well, on these things. some correction or some human touch in there. Because in the end, I really believe that people want a human touch on everything. There are not for nothing queues until I can see waiting for a certain artist just to put his autograph on something, and not like a stamp or printed with a cover. People just want to have a human touch on anything, and I think that will be forever. Forever. And I think it's just a help. It can be a helpful tool, but there needs to be regulations. I don't know about government's regulations, because I'm not really a fan of government regulating everything. But also the art community, they need to get stronger with these copyright things. Too many times when a company asked me to make art, and I make art, and then they said, "Yeah, we want to use it, for our socials." Okay, but then you have to pay copyright. How long do you want to use it? How many times? How many people do you think will see? Because that's for me my income, and it would be protecting my art, so that they don't mess it up and still have my name underneath. On things I don't agree. So
right. Ryu says drawing is an expression, and I'm just not sure if AI can do that, even if it will be that advanced. But I agree with Roland about the value. Okay, here's how I see it. Right, in 20 years we can look back on this stream, see what happened. Right, so 20 years from now, you have everything.
20 is a long time. Let's put 10 years.
It's a long time.
A long time.
Okay, but we will get there sometime, right? So this is just early stage. You can see what it can do now. Now use your imagination. Combine this with deepfake technology, with automatic animation, with voice construction. All these things combined, plus the fact that it's a tool that learns what people like, and they learn patterns. At some point, we will get things like movies, games, comics, everything made by software. And at some point, it can just churn out these things on its own, and you may have some real artists there still clinging on to the craft, but what they do will be drowned out by the tremendous amount of product that will be produced in the future. There will be so much produced that even the human-made products they will just be drowned out. That's what I think.
I think in that sense you can almost compare it with the Industrial Revolution. Humans being replaced by machines to do the craft, the labor in a faster and more consistent way, and people lost their jobs as well. But it's also about people losing their jobs quickly when you keep on holding with your dear life on the old ways. But the world is changing, and I think you need to move with it. Make it your own, educate yourself again, learn how it works, and roll with it. You can make it your own. I can also see this as an example when while Jurassic Park was the game changer, right? You can see this whole AI thing as a game changer. It's not a rule changer in the game. No, it's a really game changer. Jurassic Park did it as well by creating these digital dinosaurs and digital animations. And at one point they were so convinced, that the movie was a big success, the AI or the digital art was really good, and they gave the physical puppeteers and model makers that used to make these models with their own hands, they said, okay, you can join the digital apartment of us, learn the skill to how to do it digitally, and otherwise will be afraid that you won't have a job anymore. And those guys were probably thinking, yeah, it will take a couple of years before they give us the boot, because there are a lot of movies still need to have models and stop motion animation. Within a few months, they were all fired because they also didn't move with the digital wave. And I think you need to move with these things. You can't stop it. So you can complain about it. You can put all your energy and fight it, but I think it's futile and it's a loss of energy. Better put your energy to something else. And you can also put your energy into how to work with it. When I think I saw a podcast of Carla Ortiz. He had a conversation with Stan Procopendo, I think his name is, and Steven Zapata, who made a big video about AI. And she had a nice metaphor about, having cars in the good old days, and then horses, and they were being replaced by cars. Which cars are faster, more powerful. But when this change happened, they needed to change infrastructure. They needed to change laws to deal with the new invention that's called car. And we need to do that with AI as well.
Well, sure, no one is denying that. But I think some people are naive to the fact of how huge this game changer can be. So the world will look completely different. Sorry?
No, or they're thinking too futile. There are doom thinkers, No,
it's not doom thinking. When you are realistic, you see this and you extrapolate that over 20 years. You can almost not imagine right now how advanced this technology will be.
Yeah, but
they don't need artists anymore when they have computers doing everything for you.
Well, that is a given if things stay as they are right now, and that's why we need to have new legislation about it.
Yeah, right. I saw Scott Stewart here. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Scott.
He says, I'm not a fan of AI. Besides the movie AI is pretty good, especially when they're stealing art from traditional artists. Though I don't think AI will ever replace.
No, but that's. I think I agree with him. But that's the thing. The discussion is about data collecting, and that's unethical. They need to either collect the data. We need to have a discussion about it. How to collect the data? Collect the data only from artists from the public domain. So artists that already passed away more than 80 years ago. Stay away from copyrighted material. The AI shouldn't collect those things. So there needs to be regulations anyway. But I'm not against AI. I am against the way how they collect the data right now at this point.
So what are you going to do about it, Roland? Well,
I'm going into politics.
Yeah,
I'm going to set up my own party.
You're kind of like a politician, man.
Yeah, make these laws.
Vote Roland.
Yeah, I'm making the art party. Yeah.
Welcome, Jaded One.
Hey, man.
He says, just knowing it's not made by humans makes me value it a lot less. This is also one of the things that concerns me or not concerns me. It's like, this is something that I can see happening, is that art will lose its value because there will be so much at some point that people are like, it's just normal to have gorgeous looking stuff everywhere. So yeah.
Well, to be honest, I mean, despicable things like, well, I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. That's more like, there was a part, I was once part of Heavy Gamer, and then somebody introduces downloadable content, ripping parts of the game, putting it back as paid content. And there was a revolt in the beginning, but now it's all normalized, Oh yeah, pay for $20 for a skin, or an avatar. It's all normal now. I'm against it. I'm not going to pay shit. But no, I have my own ways, but that's beside the point. But like you said, this is all new, and I agree. I like traditional art, right? With pencils and even so brushes. I also like digital art, but I complain a lot about, how do you say, certain parts of modern comics on my channel, Darksyde Comics. Follow me there, please, if you want. That would be really great. But you see the difference a lot. You see those static images. Let's say a building, and all these buildings looks exactly the same. They have exactly the same windows. They have the exact same perspective. There is no imagination. That doesn't mean it can be, but it requires effort. But why would you put in effort if you can sell it like it is? And then is when people get content and get lazy, and then you're gonna
but
exactly.
Exactly, and like you said, it's very new. Looking back, at what I was saying to the Jurassic Park time when 3D animation was coming up.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris. At some point, everybody was using 3D animation. And the first ones were very ugly. They're still very ugly sometimes. But it was a huge explosion of 3D things. The same thing with bullet time that Matrix introduced. Everybody was into it. Everybody using it. But you see now, luckily, the special effects are so good right now. That's not really, and it's used in every movie, even the rom-coms, even the boring movies. It's set extensions. It's used everywhere, and you don't notice it anymore. And there is a perfect blend nowadays between practical special effects and special effects, visual special effects. And because we had the hype, and now it's calmed down, and now filmmakers can better combine it, because somebody said in the chat as well, I like stop motion better than the other the digital animation. But still, stop motion is still there. I just checked out Guillermo's Pinocchio on Netflix. It's amazing stop motion. But also, don't forget, also in stop motion there is manipulation and there's visual effects as well. They also need to remove certain things that requires to make stop motion, and it's the perfect blend with everything. I believe in some movies they use, I think in the End or some Star Wars, I think the Ender series, for example, you still use practical sets, practical real life sets, practical effects as well, combined with some digital enhancements or some digital trickery as well. So. And that's now it's so hyped up right now, like Dave said. You will see explosion of AI everywhere, and I think at some point it also calms down a bit, and you have a curve going down. That you have a perfect mixture between some things the computer generates, and you have a human touch on it as well.
By the way, how was Pinocchio?
Yeah, well, not the Disney one, the Guillermo del Toro one. It is beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah, was it good?
Yeah, I love stop motion. There's so much craft in it. That's the thing. Talking about AI in stop motion, there's labor in there, and you can see it. You can see the finger imprints on some of the models. When they're moving the models. And the way stop motion moves by hand, it has a certain value, certain way, certain rhythm to it. I don't know if AI can ever reproduce that, but you never know. Everything can change in quite quickly in a year.
Why would artificial intelligence not be able to absolutely copy that technique and present it as real?
Because there are human flaws. So unless the AI can really replicate human flaws,
artificial intelligence will process all the data. So they will also include the flaws.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. In human error, by moving a figure let's say you animate a figure, you make a walking loop or walking animation, and you place the foot just a fraction of a millimeter too much or too low, depending on the way it moves. There is no logic in there, and AI creates everything with logic, unless AI managed a way to use unlogical things.
No,
Maybe it can
just uses these patterns.
Yeah, well, if it's logic, but a lot of things humans do are not logic, so there's no pattern in there. But that's a tough discussion, because then you can go, are all the things humans do that seems unpatterned, but humans, or do humans always make a pattern somewhere? So yeah, that's going to completely go off track. So it's another discussion.
All right.
Immortal Rising comic book. Welcome.
Hey, man.
Listen while you write. Oh, can you do that? Can you listen to people talk while you write?
He probably lets an AI write his stuff.
Yes. This is true. You don't need to write, sir. You have programs.
Yeah, you just put in some prompts. Yeah, you just put on. But so many comments on the chat. I don't know if you're keeping track, Dave, but people are really concerned or really busy with this topic.
I know. Chris Fisk says, "I can't wait until we get what Star Trek's holodeck offers. Computer create an open field of flowers under a golden sky at dawn." Yeah, because you have 3D technology also now. You can print stuff, so you can have artificial created statues and 3D art. Every form of art that we can think of at some point can be replicated by a machine. Stories also, people don't have to write stories no more. They can recognize the patterns, the hero's journey. They can write all these things for us.
I am waiting just to the day, and it will probably be soon, that 3D artists will be handling this. That there will be an AI. You just put in some prompts, and it creates a 3D model.
Sure. Yeah.
With just one click, and and then the AI can be so clever that it can even rig the model. Put the bones in there exactly where it needs to be. And then let's see how their community will react on those advancements. It is definitely I don't know, progress, but it's technology that's...
Yeah, but what we see here is essentially artistic cannibalism. It's taking things from what actual artists made, and there's so much right now that they can continue to build upon this for decades. Yeah. So unless there are laws in place and people start suing companies, and I think a lot needs to happen to put a stop to this, to regulate it, and maybe even create a system where artists can create art especially for this database, for instance.
For example,
so people can still work, That's
just create for the AI machine and let AI machine use the art that's already in the creative or in the public domain. I think we also need to look at how the music industry does that. How does the music industry have a so good tight control on their copyrights?
I learned today that there is a version also for music, so a artificial generator for music, and this taps from a database with music that's specifically made for it or is copyright free.
Yeah, exactly.
So like stock music, when they touch like Beatle music or whatever, they have lawsuits, so they can't do that.
That was one of the AI machines or the companies that uses now this art. They made I think they made it for music as well. I don't know on what, but they specifically said, no, we can't use this and this and this. We only use copyright free material because we can get in trouble. And the same company exactly does the opposite for the art. They use copyrighted materials.
Right.
And I think, again, the main discussion we need to have is about the data collecting. And I'm fine with a computer creating stuff from a database. It's kind of an advanced filter, you can almost say like that. But where it gets its data or information from, that's very important.
Yeah. You also need to protect artists. You have this artist called Sam Does Art, and he does and people
Amazing
have been
artist.
making AI art based on his style, on his work, and he didn't like it, so he made a video about it. And to troll him, more people started to do it.
Yeah, I heard that. It's awful that people just do that.
Yeah.
But it does raise a question: is there a copyright on a style?
Yeah,
basically?
that's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in 5 years I can make comic books drawn by Jim Lee without having Jim Lee involved.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted to. That's what I wanted to actually to do it for this episode, but I didn't have the time to really deep dive into it. But I actually wanted to see if I can make a comic book based on, let's say, Todd McFarlane's 80s style or whatever.
Well, try it.
Because so far, all the art I've seen, that's in not the manga counted, are mostly paintings.
But how are you going to do that, Roland? If theoretically you were going to take on the project to make a comic book that looks like a Todd McFarlane drew it, how are you going to approach it? You will need to fill in Todd McFarlane.
Yes, exactly. So you're purposely stealing somebody's style then?
Yes. So is this ethical?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
No, I definitely don't think so.
Bottom line is that people would do it regardless.
Yeah, people will just do it. People will do it, and
so we can talk about regulations all we want and data input. It's not going to change. This is it. This is it. Like I said, the cat's is out of the bag or whatever.
But not doing anything is also not the answer. You need to set practices. You need to set examples.
We are not in control of that.
And still now, China just rips off art from people, place it on T-shirts and sell them on Alibaba. It still happens here, and they can't do anything about it. I know a lot of very prominent illustrators here in the Netherlands, for example. They see their art on mugs or on merchandise, on Alibaba, on T-shirts, and they can't stop it. They can flag with Alibaba, this is mine, this is not right, so you need to ban. But a lot of things, they just come through. But imagine this on a bigger scale, basically. And then it's not your art, it's your style. Somebody created something from your style. You can make people believe it's from you. Or somebody else can make people believe it's from you, but it's not what you draw. So how do you fight this? It's not what you actually drew, but it's your style. So
it has to be regulated. If it's not regulated, then first off,
it's free for all for everybody.
Yeah. So
and artists will suffer the most.
Real artists will die out. The craft will die out because there's no reason to start it. There's no incentive, and even if you want to do it, people will just copy it. So it's all for nothing. It needs to be regulated, or the profession will just die.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. And you only get You will only get, to be honest, you only get crap shit.
Crap shit.
Yeah, you just get crap and shit products, no quality. The same with movies, when there's too much computer involved.
Look, there's a lot of crap movies right now
Will make
that
money.
make billions. So,
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's just about making money.
Yeah,
that's about making money. If these companies can make money by cannibalizing all these artists and discarding them, and they don't have to pay royalties. They can sell the software to millions of people who will also make their own art. At some point, we have so much art. Then, what's the value?
Yeah, I hope. I am always try to be the optimistic, and I'm not a doom thinker.
Yeah,
I hope with all the oversaturation of AI art,
two sides
of
the
a coin.
same coin. You are the optimist, and I'm the pessimist. But yeah, hopefully it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I really hope with this oversaturation of AI art that people value human touch even more. The craft. But who knows? I mean, already on Instagram, I would make an art. I'm working 8 hours or 16 hours to create something with full proud. I post it on Instagram, and I get like let's say 60 likes. I don't know, and somebody just posts a very cheap photograph of the cat. It will receive tens of thousands of likes. I'm like, okay, fuck. That's already, that's already reality. You work hard for your craft and your labor, but in the end, you do it for yourself and not for somebody else, unless you are hired for it, of course. You still need to find your expression, like the chat mentioned before, and you need to love it. You need to love it. You love to create stuff from your mind and place it on paper. That is value for me as well, and I'm lucky now in a position I can make money from it. Let's see how the future develops. I am keeping my eye on it, and I'm really curious how this unrolls and folds. Like I said, it starts with artists, but in the end, it will affect everybody.
Yeah.
Filmmakers, storytellers like you, Dave, as well.
Yeah, the repercussions will be tremendous. I think people don't want to see it. They want to think it's just a tool, but this is a game breaker. It will change everything.
Yeah, definitely. We are on the verge of something really big.
Right. Okay. Marinus. Yeah. Let's stop it here.
Let's go to some comments.
I don't think. I think we discussed everything. Okay, Roland, Marinus, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Sure, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Special thanks to the chat for being here and for your comments and for the engagement. We love that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a hot topic. Maybe we'll come back on this topic.
Yeah.
It is. I think there's still a lot of things to be said about this.
More?
And I will be back tomorrow with a drink with Brink, and I will be talking to Gilly about capybaras in space, something like that.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
Hope to see you guys then. Bye, guys.
Later,
Ciao.
guys.